and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. We'll call it 6:05. I won't do a roll call. I know who's here and who's not. So we haven't met in a while, so that's fine. I did get an email from Larry Capero. I haven't read it. Been tied up with something, but yeah, so go Irene, Matt, and Fred. I ran into Fred at Fred's car wash, not his car wash, though. Just a couple days ago. I said, Fred, it's a pretty inappropriate place for you to get your car washed.
Well, Jeff, get this. So not only, I realize there are actually 3 Freds there, not just 2, because the billboard across the street is Fred Rogers. There's 3.
It's a Fred convention on
Yes.
Westport Avenue. Yes. Okay. So there's nobody from the public on. Oh, hey, I see it's a Brian Rooney sighting. In and out. Still connected, not sure, but anyway.
I'm here.
Hey, how are you, Brian?
It never ends. I'm here.
I know.
Brian has a new job and he moved. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things.
So, might as well catch up on a couple things that we have going on. I have some current events things and then some of these old, kind of old business items that we still haven't solved. First one on the agenda is the Veterans Advocate Award. It's kind of an odd time to roll that out. I mean, we were all prepped to award King Industries Q1 of 2020, and then, right in the 3rd month of the quarter, we all went into lockdown mode, and that whole program is off. Yeah, that program, I still want to do it. There's no reason why we can't kick that off. Maybe this is the first quarter to do that. So give that some thought. I know, Irene, you were going to kind of honcho that. If you have any thoughts, please let me know.
Okay.
City Resource Directory for Veterans. I'm probably at the 90% mark on that. I'll keep working on that. Outreach to veterans and the families. I get calls all the time through the Legion, various things. And I just point people in the right direction. I know the service officers for the VFW at the state level are excellent, and they help all veterans. You don't have to be a member of the VFW. So even today I got an email. A gentleman in the Danbury area called us and said, "You make $60,000 a year, and the VA won't let them have any benefits." And I said, "Okay, well, that's a great case for the VFW team in Newington to kind of take that on," and so made that happen. I get flags often too. A realtor dropped off a flag. She was cleaning out somebody's home who had passed away, who had a flag from a deceased veteran in her house, and she didn't know what to do with it. She dropped that at the American Legion. Sent her a nice thank you note for taking care of the colors, and so that sort of thing. Those sorts of things pop up all the time. Even Irene will send me some things once in a while, so that's good. So that's outreach. Anybody have anything to add to that? Wait, I gotta dote on Matt Sebeck for a minute. Matt Sebeck is now the senior vice commander of the VFW post in Norwalk. I found out, Matt, that everybody moves up one, is how that works. So he in December, the food boxes from the USDA, the supply was going to end, and so he made a motion at a meeting to donate $1,000 each to person and Open Door Shelter. And we delivered the checks, took some pictures. Didn't get a lot of publicity. That's kind of my fault. I did put something out on Facebook about it, but that was a great effort on Matt's part. He's kind of plugged into community things and has his ear to the ground and that sort of thing. And I want to thank him in front of all of us. And those who knew Don Burrows, who was the commander, he passed on January 29th. Yeah. And his family donated $100 for us to donate the $100 in Don's name to a food bank, and we did that, and then the post matched 100 also. So that just went out last week. They get more money now, and they're struggling, as I understand it. So, anybody have any charities that they work for and somebody's looking to donate, those are good sources or resources to use for sure. So that's outreach in a large and loud way. And thanks again, Matt. Partnership with Norwalk Chamber. I don't see Brian on. I still want to do that. I still want to create a veteran-owned business registry. And use the chamber to do that, and maybe create a veteran chamber of commerce that they send their president to the regular chamber meetings. I think that's huge. And if we advertise who those people are, especially small businesses, I think that would help our town. I know the UPS store, that's a Navy guy that runs that on Main Avenue by the McDonald's. Nice guy, family run place. It's a franchise, so and I'm sure there's more out there. It's just a matter of finding them. And, it's hard these days. I do a lot of research, as you guys probably know, and I'm back into the newspapers in the 1930s and 40s. Everything that went on in town went into the newspaper. So-and-so was visiting from New York City, and everybody knew everybody's business. And if you needed something done, you put it in the newspaper, and people read the newspaper and they reacted to it. Now it's hard because there's 8 or 9 sources out there, social media and even official press releases sometimes don't get us the answer that we want. But so anyway, I kind of got off on a tangent there, but the chamber, that's still going to work that. Give you an update on the Ceremonies and Honors Subcommittee, the former Norwalk Veterans Memorial Committee. A couple months ago, I filed the paperwork for the Remembrance Ceremony on the 3rd Sunday in May at the Shea McGrath Memorial and the Memorial Day Parade. And about 2-3 weeks ago now, the the Common Council approved both of those events. As I understand it, the governor's going to lift restrictions for outdoor events to 200 people. We never get 200 people at the event at the Shea McGrath Memorial, so we're good to go there. I know there's some reservation about paying the tent company to put a tent up until we really know what's going on and what the mayor wants to do. Irene, do you have an update on that at all, or no?
No, but I'm sure something will come up soon.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
and to date we haven't issued a special event permit to anyone, but I can feel it in my bones. Things are changing.
me
So
too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And the crowd that typically attends those events are 75% of them are inoculated. I just saw it.
yeah,
75% of the people over 75 have been
Yeah.
have gotten
Yeah.
a shot. So that's great.
yeah.
And,
And Norwalk, you're using Norwalk Tent Company. They're such they're a regular vendor for the city, so
Sure.
I'm sure they'll know you're good for it.
yes, I'm sure.
It's not an issue.
She's been sweet. Yep, no doubt about it. Guest speaker. So Norwalk High School class of 1979. There's somebody that graduated from that class that went to college and an ROTC program. The college name is escaping me right now, but he's been in the Air Force ever since. He actually retired from the Air Force
Oh,
and
wow.
then worked as a civilian for the Air Force and just got stationed in the Pentagon. He's got family in town. For those that know George Ribolino, he's active in the Knights of Columbus. His wife is this fellow's sister, so she's the one that gave me his work email address. I sent something to him on Thursday, just to let him know that it would be great to have him as a guest speaker for the event at the Shea McGrath Memorial. And then as far as the parade goes, I've already had one inquiry from Cub Scout Pack 97. They want to march. And as far as Grand Marshals go, this is a pretty big thing, man. If we can pull this off, this would be great. the Grand Marshal I had in mind, and his family contacted me nearly a year ago, and offered, this fellow to be the Grand Marshal in the Memorial Day Parade. Well, he turned 100 last year, and then Nick Samadell turned 100 earlier this year, and my neighbor down the street, John Kozar, Marine Corps vet, he turns 100 on April 22nd. And wouldn't it be something to have three 100-year-old World War II veterans out in front of the parade, with masks on and that sort of thing? To me, that's a national story. I mean, how often does that happen in one city? So it's just a matter of everybody's comfort level, family's comfort level on having their loved one involved, and I hope we can pull that off, because that would be fun. And as far as the parade, it's going to be much smaller scale, because I'm sure the school bands haven't been together. So bunch of cars full of vets, and people out on the street with their masks on and waving the flag, and do it the way we used to, but on a little more smaller scale than normal. And again, I'm going to have to rely on the mayor's kind of intuition and what he thinks is safe for the city. But while the Common Council did approve it, there was certainly some hesitation and caution about whether we can actually do a full-blown one or not. And I would say not. But that's where we stand on those things. And then COVID-19 vaccine update is the last agenda item, and I want to thank Irene for sending me updates, VA updates on that. You're on an email list I'm not on, Irene. And the big news is they dropped the age requirement to get the vaccines, which I think is amazing. And from what I understand, Connecticut is way out in front of the other 49 states in making sure their veterans are taken care of when it comes to the vaccine. So that just warms my little heart. So that's pretty much old business, a little bit of new business in there with the parade and that sort of thing. Anybody have anything else?
Now, if only they could get military personnel still active on the list. That would be nice.
I hear the National Guard, Connecticut National Guard, is helping at Danbury Mall. I don't know if that's fact or fiction or what that is, but that's a big site.
I don't know. Possibly. I did see some soldiers. In Stamford, where Lord and Taylor is now a vaccine site drive-through.
Yep.
I saw some soldiers directing traffic there. So I'm sure the Connecticut National Guard is out in force everywhere.
Yeah. That site is actually on the list in VAMS, but there's no appointment available. There's 30 sites on there and no appointment available, or some of them even have it locked down to where it's only second shot only. And then they specify the Moderna or the Pfizer also. This Johnson & Johnson vaccine, can't wait for that. I think a lot of people like the idea of one shot, And then late today, I don't know, the guidelines that came out, the CDC said once everybody, if you're in a group and everybody has their series of shots, nobody needs to wear a mask anymore, which blew me away a little bit.
Yeah, but I think I think they're also limiting that to the amount of people. It's not like a huge group.
True. Yeah,
but
like
you could
small
be nose to
family
nose
gathering.
with family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then inside events, March 19th, indoor event capacity is going up to 50% or 100. So that's helpful, especially for the Legion. Their income stream's been cut in half nearly with the loss of rentals, but they are booking out the second half of this year pretty well. So it's great. I mean, there was an event there last night. So people are definitely dipping their toe in the water and getting out of the house, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think so. Go around the screen. Looks like Hollywood Squares. So this way, Leon, that's you I'm pointing at. What do you got? Anything?
Not really. I do have my doubts that everything's going to be normal. There are different strains breaking out, and in some cases it appears that the virus, I should say, overcomes the vaccine, but the vaccine does help minimize it. That's about it. And in all honesty, because we're at Noah Community College, they're saying, well, they think we're going to get in. I don't believe so, because there are a couple of things that's going to impede that. One is they got a lot of younger people there who may not have gotten any vaccinations. The second thing is the fact that they're worried. Tomorrow will be the 1-year anniversary from the last time I was in the college. That's how long it's been closed down. And even students, most of the students weren't going in. The ones that were going in were like nursing and so forth, where you have to have a lab and you have to be in contact with other individuals. And in fact, those aides were basically working, shall we say, a lot of the COVID cases I guess, practical experience. So it's one of those. But one of the things they're talking about is keeping distances. Even then, if they say we can only have 20 people in a classroom, in a big classroom, it's not going to work for us. So I have my doubts. I think 2021 is probably the real date, because even Fauci has said we should continue wearing masks. And then I wear masks all the time.
Yeah, I don't mind. You know, I'm not. You know, if I'm not within 6 feet of somebody, I'm not going to wear one. And if
Well, when I'm out walking, when I'm out moving around outside, I'll have it with me, but I'm not going to perhaps be wearing it. I may have it on my chin.
Right. Close by, right, within reach.
Yeah.
So everybody else in your family's good, Leon?
Yeah, nothing really. I guess the best thing we could say, we're here.
Right. Better than the alternative. And yeah, the governor had half staff for the U.S. flag for a whole week after the country passed 500,000. That's quite a milestone. And thank God for you know, these 3 companies that have come up with a vaccine. I guess when you're funded to keep the lab open 24 hours a day, it goes quick. And I heard a story too that Merck tried to come up with a vaccine, but never could find one. So what they're going to do is manufacture Johnson & Johnson's for them. I'm sure there's money changing hands there, but I mean, this is not the time to be competitive. I mean, if they can double output to get more vaccines out to the world, you know, good for them, you know. So
and the other thing is, when we look at what we're saying, we're having a, shall we say, success in getting more people vaccinated. We're talking about the world.
The world, right? Yeah, there's some concern. I guess Yuma, Arizona, you know, 60, 100 immigrants just crossing right across the border, and who knows if they have COVID or not. So there's that too. You know, that concerns me a little bit, but I don't know. I'm careful. I don't go out much. We went out to a restaurant Saturday night for the first time in a couple months, but you know, trying to stay safe. Fred, how about you? How's everything?
Oh, well, we're doing well. Terry and I just went skiing. We were in Utah this past week. We went to Deer Valley, and you know, great. You know, the skiing was great, but it was also great to see everything's open there in Utah. Although, you know, they have social distancing, they have masks, so it's really kind of like here. I mean, really, you basically they're in phase 2 or phase 3. But you know, it was our first trip in a year, and getting on an airplane, you know, going through the airports, doing all that kind of stuff. And it was a little unnerving at first, but after a day or so, we really got into it. And it kind of felt great, sort of being let out of jail, you know. So
I went to Florida once a couple months ago and had the whole airport experience. And you know, they hand you a wipe down your seat and the TV screen and all that, and you know, short flight, 2.5 hours, and off you go. You know.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
The bank that my customers are willing to see me. I visited my top 60 customers in January, and 57 of them were in person. And Terry and I, we go out to restaurants twice a week here in town. I mean, we're selective on where we go, but no issues. And personally, I'm probably a little more optimistic, I guess. I think by May things are going to really, really pop open. I think the psychology and everything else is just going to really, I just think there's going to be a whoosh of energy around that time. So, we'll see, but I'm feeling optimistic.
My glass
I
is,
hope you're right.
my glass is
I
almost
do.
half full all the time.
Yeah.
Irene, how's Howard?
Howard's great. He had his second inoculation, so
Mm,
yeah.
Good.
So he's doing well. Yeah,
Good.
we're all fine, thanks.
I want to read some things came in on the Q&A from Orlando Aquino, who was invited to the meetings. He's an retired Army guy who works at the Community Health Center on Connecticut Avenue. 3 things. He says, there are restrictions as of right now. The mask is still required. The Community Health Center is going to deploy their medical mobile unit. That's great to get out into the community and get a shot right on the street. And the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is still in shortage. So there you have it, straight from the front. He must be on the phone because I don't see him on the screen here. There's something else here. The boxes are still going on Wednesday at Betts Park. Oh, food. That must be the food distribution. Yeah, I think Cat Pasture still has that too once in a while. But
Every Wednesday.
every Wednesday. Okay, good. Who's next? Matt Sebeck, how are you? How's the baby?
Doing great, thanks. Started daycare, which was promptly closed down due to a COVID exposure. So, not my kid. She's doing just fine, but never the most ideal thing when she starts first week back. So, but everything else is sailing forward here. Everything good to go.
And Erica's
Matt.
back at work, like in person.
Past weekend, and she said the attendance was way up compared to before.
Yeah. Yes, Erica is back at work and in person seeing patients, and traffic is pretty good at the shopping center these days. People are coming back and they're feeling more comfortable coming back for lots of different reasons, but they're definitely engaging in a way that we haven't seen since the holidays. So we're pretty happy about that.
Good.
Awesome. All right, you're next, Mr. Rooney. Tell us all about it.
All about what? Life
Well,
doesn't
come on.
slow down even in a pandemic.
The big move. You're not working for WWE over there anymore. Come on, catch us up.
Yeah. So, well, I guess, man, the last time we really were able to chat, I remember I was sitting in the basement of my then new house
All right.
in June on Zoom, I believe it was the last time we really had a Zoom meeting, or at least one I could make, because I then went on duty for about 4 months.
Right.
So yeah, family moved to a new house. We are sadly no longer in Norwalk, so I guess my official line title here is pretty short-termed here. But I will always still be around and participate and be fruitful to your team there, Jeff, and our team. In about November, switched from WWE to ironically a role at a company in Norwalk, Homeserve USA, which is a great company. Yep. So I'm working for them doing business operations and change management, trying to get all of our HVAC companies on a new consolidated software. So vastly different from TV production, but much more of that strategic planning that the Army has helped me build. So I'm in good shape. The kids are doing pretty good, and Emily's in school and out of a school in Greenwich and has been going ever since the fall. So there hasn't been a shortage or stop down there, and we're in good shape.
Good. Are you? Did you get selected for major?
Yep. So official promotion date was 26 June of last year, and I got pinned sometime November, I think, from on the Army side. I still keep saying I want to do a civilian side with the family because with COVID, nobody could go to a ceremony. So,
Right.
but we'll see. So yeah, so I guess as of June, I'm also Major Rooney, no longer Captain Rooney.
Congratulations, man. That's a big deal.
Congratulations.
04, man. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? Oh, I got a story to tell about the guy behind the Sound of Norwalk logo there, Larry Manzi.
Hold on.
I am researching veterans, as you probably know,
He's
for a project. If you want to make note of the website, it's norwalkctheroes.org. Pretty much researched every veteran that died during wartime service, going back to the Revolution and Revolutionary War. And I've had some offshoot projects, documented all the Purple Heart recipients from the city of Norwalk. As a matter of fact, Norwalk was named a Purple Heart City or designated a Purple Heart City in August last year. And I promised at the end of that event that I would find a way to get a monument to our combat wounded somewhere in Norwalk. Worked on that a lot today, actually. I talked to somebody at Fort Bragg and got their vendor that they used. And it's basically a copy of what's at the Purple Heart Museum in Vales Gate, New York, about an hour and a half from here. And love to see that go into Vets Park somewhere. But yeah, it'll be a little bit before we get to that. But back to Larry Manzi. So one of these offshoot projects I was involved in is in my research, I came across an article in November 1945 in the Norwalk Hour, where the lady in charge of tracking POWs for Norwalk at the Norwalk chapter of the Red Cross was resigning her position because the war was over. And the Hour published the names of the 45 prisoners that were being released from German POW camps. I'd never seen it before, and I was blown away by how many names were on there. And I did my thing that I do through ancestry sites and newspaper sites. The library has been a big help to me in documenting one of them. And one of them happened to have the same last name, my classmate Larry there at City Hall. And I sent it off to him, and he said it's not his family member. So I thought for sure this was going to be his grandfather who was going to make his day, but not the case. But still, it's all out there, and the goal eventually, long term, is after COVID and all that we get the schools involved with that site and have the kids use it as a resource. Take the kids on a road trip down to calf pasture, look at the names on a plaque, tell them to pick a name, write a book report about it, something like that. I hope I can pull that off. There's a lot going on with the board right now. Probably not the right time to bring it up, but maybe fall of this year, I can come on as a member of or go to one of their meetings as somebody from the public and explain the project and my goal. The kids today, the further we get from World War II, the less emphasis will be on how important that was to the future of the planet and what young people right from these streets that we drive on did to change the course of history. And I'm always in awe of that generation. There's no doubt about it. So way too much. But Larry, I assume you never found anybody that knew who that was. Is that correct?
No, I passed it on to my family members, and no one got back to me about. I mean, it certainly looked like it was probably one of my relatives because they're all from Norwalk. But I'll follow up again with them, and I'll let you know. But yeah, thank you. Very interesting.
Hey, thanks for that. All right. So last time around, any last parting wisdom?
Only because you said that. I grew up across the street from a gentleman who was a prisoner of war in Germany, the Second World War.
What was his last name?
Mastriani.
Yep.
Anthony Mastriani.
As a matter of fact, his son lives in the area. I went to high school with his daughter, who lives now in Nevada. Found her on Facebook and asked her if she had anything in family archives that she would want to contribute to her father's page. And she said, if anybody has it, my brother does. I've left 2 voicemails for him. I'm not going to be a pest about it, but You know, I don't even have a picture of the guy. And a picture, especially when this rolls out to kids, a picture creates a connection to what you read, you know, and trying to do that. I'm in touch with a lot of families that are providing things. Some have
He
to
was
get a
friend-
box out
he
of the
was-
attic, that kind of thing. Sorry, go ahead.
He was friends with my brothers, both of whom were in the war. The thing that amazed me, or I should say, looking at from what we know today, is not so much a surprise. He would never talk about his experience in the camps.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, it was kind of a source of pride. I mean, all of them that served in the war, you know, depending on where they were, Pacific or Europe, or maybe they were captured. It was just kind of, I think they were told on the way out the door, keep it to yourself. People don't really need to know exactly what went on here. So, yeah, that's something. Anthony Mastrian, yeah, lived at 64 Lexington Avenue in 1930, lived at 10 Henry Street on
He
1940.
lived on Henry Street when I was, because I lived on Chestnut Street, right across from him.
I've got his draft card on my screen in front of me right now. I'm born in October 1925. He was 18 when he registered. Class of 43 up there. I do have a picture of him from the Norfolk High School yearbook of class of 43. He was on the soccer team, Anthony Mastriani. That's right. I got to put that on this thing. And he served, National Archives has a POW record for everybody that was held captive. And it lists what camp he was in, what each of them were in. And he was in Stalag 9B in Germany. Yep. So anyway, that kind of stuff keeps me busy. Just to tell you what I'm working on now, we have one Norwalk resident killed on Iwo Jima, and I sent the Iwo Jima Memorial Historical Foundation, based in Connecticut. I sent them a link to the page in case they wanted, you know, if they were gathering information or had archives or whatever. They immediately got back to me and asked that I research the 100 Connecticut residents who died on Iwo Jima between February and March 1945. And I've been working on that for about 3 weeks. I'm not even through the 100 yet. And when I get through the 100, then I do a second pass and really dig in, see if I can find some things in the records, archives, that sort of thing. And family members, that's a big piece. I don't look for family at this point. This is more just get a date of birth, you know, date of death, rank, what branch they were in. Most of them were in Marines. Obviously, that was a Marine operation there. And yeah, so once I get all that done, they're going to build a website or a book from the research. And it's an honor to do that. I had no idea there were 100 Connecticut residents that died at Iwo Jima. As a comparison, only 19 Connecticut residents died in the attack on Pearl Harbor. That's scales there, yeah. And I did research on all 19 of them too. I must be out of my mind. I enjoy it, and the families that I've been in touch with, I really appreciate the effort and the fact that I've dug up this information. As a matter of fact, I mention one more thing because this is going to come to you at some point, Irene. There are 2 names missing from the Vietnam plaque at Cap Pastor. One of them, I've been in touch with the family of one of them, and they want to know why their brother's not on the plaque. And I don't have an answer for them. So there's a company called Monumetic, and they're the ones that created those plaques. So I met the guy at CAF on Saturday, and he took dimensions. I gave him the year and the rank, first name, middle initial, last name, and how I wanted the plaque to look. And then I met him at City Hall, and one of those that's not on the plaque of Vietnam doesn't have a star next to his name on the big plaques at City Hall. And those that have a star died during wartime service. So we're going to get that fixed as well. He's going to send me a quote. And then there's one plaque. So Irene, picture in your mind, actually all of us have been to City Hall. As you're walking in from the parking lot, the large plaque all the way to the right is discolored. And so, and it's in 2 pieces. Like there's the top 2/3 of the plaque is dark brown. The bottom third looks like it was overlaid on top of it. And it just doesn't fit. And he's going to quote me on that too, but I have a hunch it's going to take a little bit longer to get that funded. But the small plaque for the 2 Vietnam fellows, I would love to have that in place by the event on the 3rd Sunday in May. So when I send that off to you, Irene, please advocate for making the history right on those guys.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not really sure how the funding comes about for that, the Blacks Outdoors.
Blacks, yeah. So I've got 5 cost codes that are within rec and parks, and it's advertising, other professional services, business expense, recreation supplies, and postage. Postage, I don't see us ever needing, but I mean, I don't know if money can move around. Like I can
Oh,
move
yeah,
money from one
definitely.
account to another account of
can
mine. Maybe we
request-
could do that too. Yeah.
We can request that
Yeah.
from Angela, the budgets director. Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, the finance director can unilaterally, I think,
Oh, there
transfer.
you go. Fred is he's familiar. with
Yeah,
that parts.
finance director can unilaterally transfer up to $5,000 from line item to line
Yeah.
item.
Without the,
And above that, the BET approves it.
So I think it'll come in less than that. I said,
Yeah.
I said, I have a ballpark. This is going to be what, around 1,000? He goes, yeah, you're right there.
I think we need to have a conversation about that more in depth, Jeff or the group, because I got another call inquiry about a person who wants their father to be part of that wall in City Hall. But my understanding is for you to be on that wall, you have to have lived in Norwalk while serving. This is what I've been told from previous people who took care of that. So anyhow, so there is a need to
Okay.
structure that or
It's worth a discussion. So the
Yes,
one family that the name is missing, he was born in Norwalk, went to Norwalk High School, played on the golf team. He's in the
Perfect.
Norwalk High yearbook, so you have
Perfect.
proof there.
Yeah.
The other fellow, it's a little bit of a mystery why he picked Norwalk as his hometown. He's got a very interesting history. Born in Finland, served in the Finland Army, then served in the German Army, then
Oh,
got on a ship and sailed away from Europe and into the port of Mobile, Alabama.
oh
Got
wow.
off the ship, joined the United States Army, and was a special forces guy when the plane he was on got shot down in Vietnam in
Okay.
1965, I believe. And for those that know David Cole and this guy were stationed together at Fort Bragg. David Cole knows all about him. So, yeah, I don't know if he ever stepped foot, but once he claimed the United States citizenship, right on the paperwork, he listed his hometown as Norwalk, Connecticut. When you go on the Vietnam Veterans Wall of Honor, I mean, they have a site with a picture of everybody. It says on there, hometown, Norwalk, Connecticut. How do we deny that guy, you know? But I mean, some of these other people on the website, you know, there's a lot of them that were born elsewhere, but made their life here, moved here as a kid, when the service got back, built a house, raised their kids, died here. I mean, to me, I have a little bit of a soft spot for that. I mean, why do you deny somebody just because, you know, maybe they were on a road trip and the mother went into labor and they weren't in Norwalk? I mean, where do we draw the line on that, you know? And I know the previous regime was pretty steadfast about that, and you know, I'm not so much. So it is definitely a new business item for the next meeting.
Yeah.
It's worth thinking about, everybody that's on the call, and I'll put it in the minutes. Get everybody kind of thinking about what that looks like. And Irene, if you could send me the person's information, I can do my
Yes.
research thing that I do. and
Oh,
find
that'd
out
be great.
exactly
Yes. I'll
yeah.
send you his email. Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks.
Perfect.
Yep, it's right up my alley. So, all right, parting words. Anybody? Going once, twice, 3 times. All right. Good to see you all. Next meeting is June 14th. We're doing quarterly this year. I also wanted to mention one other thing, that I will be applying in May for that mobile Vietnam Veterans Wall to come back to Norwalk, and we will get preference because we were scheduled and it got canceled because of COVID. So the application goes in May of 21 for the 2022 schedule. And you figure by then, summer of 2022, we should be well out of the woods on this thing. So, yep, that's a must. Vietnam veterans in this town are not getting any younger. And would love to be able to do that. We should love to be able to do that for them. All right, that's about it.
All right.
All right,
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
good to
Thank
see you all.
Stay
Thanks.
safe.